There's Teresa Kretzer there and Teenie Watson. I'd like Teenie to tell y'all a nice story about how she got to serve breakfast at General Lee. Can you share that with the folks?
Well,
come on now, don't be bashful. Get over there and tell them the story.
well, I tell y'all the truth. That old General Lee was something else. My name's Teenie Watson. How do everybody? And I work for the Delaney family in the tavern. I cook and I just guess right along all of them love my cooking. But I tell you, one morning, General Lee, I was serving breakfast. General Lee and of course Mr. Delaney and a couple of other soldiers in the Confederate and well, no sooner did I give General Lee his plate, well, a shell bust right through the door. And I mean to tell you, the roof come clean off the building.
A shell came through.
A shell come right busting through the door.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, Lord, if it wasn't for, I thought I was going to die myself. But I tell you the truth, I don't really want to remember too much about that time myself. Because it was I tell you, it was a rough time back then.
Are y'all ready now?
Well,
You don't want to go on anymore, it's all right. We're not having you tell about the end of the day. I know that's hard on you.
well, I tell you.
Teresa, now tell them about the flag. Tell them the story about the flag.
Well, remember, Miss Teenie, we've been talking about how much we all got such beautiful dresses in the town, at least before those soldiers came through there.
Oh, yeah.
Tell these people
All the
about
women in
that.
our town got
Yes,
nice
ma'am,
dresses.
we've all got beautiful dresses, and I'll tell you, my sisters and my mother, we were all milliners in our house. And we had sewn a big Union flag out of materials that were bought by the townspeople, because most of us in the town were for the Union. And for a while, it hung on a pole in the square, but some of the Democratic boys that were around kept cutting it down and letting the flag drop on the ground every night. So I took it, and I hung it on a rope, across from my window to the window across the alley, to the garret window across the alley, and after that, it hung there all the time. But when Daddy heard that Lee had crossed the Potomac, he got nervous, and he said, "Girls, what are y'all going to do with that flag? Because if the rebels come to town and see it, they'll take it sure as the world." So he wanted us to hide it. So a couple of us took it and we hid it in a strong wooden box and buried it in the ash pile behind the smokehouse in the garden. And everything was fine. Until one day some soldiers did come to the house. And they came marching right up to the front door and they said to me, "We have come to demand that flag that you have. And if you don't give it up, I will turn my revolver on you." I know, to a lady. And I said, "You needn't threaten me, sir, because rather than have you touch a fold of that starry flag, I have laid it in ashes." And so they were satisfied and they walked away. But at the end of the battle, I got the flag back out again and I hung it back across the street. And after that, when the Union Army came through, they all took off their hats, and it was beautiful. It was a beautiful sight. But with those soldiers were some men walking along in their pathetic little Confederate uniforms, and I looked at them, and they were the same men who had accosted me at my house. And the one turned to me, and he said, "You said that flag was burned." And I said to him, "I never said that flag was burned, sir. I only said it was in ashes." That's right. And they told me that they would settle with me when they came back through town, but I haven't seen them yet, and it's December.